Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tech Talk Tuesday. I'm extremely proud to welcome Faiza today, who has been in the tech space for over a decade, and I think is most well known for her award-winning work in gender. And so, Faiza, why don't you introduce yourself?
Thank you so much for inviting me, Sadaf. My name is Faiza Yousuf, and I've been working in the tech industry for over a decade now. And for the past 4 years, have been involved in a lot of gender-based issues in tech. So I run a tech community called WomenInTechPK. I run a coding bootcamp called CodeGirls, and I also run a blockchain education program. Other than that, I'm also part of the national conversation around diversity and inclusion. So I'm part of Pakistan Software House Association's Diversity and Inclusion Committee, and we are trying to kind of formulate better policies around diversity and inclusion in tech, which does not only include women, which includes differently able people, which include people who do not, uh, do not have a binary gender, people, with different kind of abilities like myself. So I have a learning disability. So yeah, that's what I do.
A lot of our students are as young as 6 years old. And so, how would you explain to them what it is that you do, or why is your particular area of expertise important for the world today?
So for the 6 years old, I whatever you see on your tablets is what we build. So whatever apps that you see, whatever games that you see, um, whatever icons you see on your tablets is what we are building in the world today. um, the work that I do, so my area of expertise is product management. So my what I do every day is basically understand people who use these applications and make these applications more accessible for them. So, for example, if you're trying to find an option on an application, you want to do something and you are unable to find that option in that application. So that's my area to understand that why that option is not available for you or not accessible for you or it's difficult to find for you. So this is what I do every day, trying to understand how different users use the applications and how we can make them easy for them and better for them. And so I also want to kind of share something personal in the sense that maybe that a lot of students can connect with. So I am the eldest daughter of a family that has two other sons. So I have two little brothers, younger than me, not little anymore, but of course younger than me. And usually, boys are someone who are considered to get into engineering or mathematics or stuff like that. But I went into that. So after me, the other brother that I have, he did not get into engineering. The other one got into engineering because he thought that what his sister did was very cool. So, so whoever the girls are in those 6 years old, uh, you can do that as well, and it's really fun. So whoever is telling you that only nerds do that, nerds have a lot of fun. Trust me on that. And I also have a learning disability, so I had a very rough patch throughout my life, and I still have that. So for me, I have dyslexia, so there are good days and there are bad days. Things can get little difficult when it comes to reading. Things can get really difficult when it comes to pronunciation. um, Things can get really difficult when it comes to reading somebody's handwriting, copying from the board. So these were the issues that all of the issues that I had, but it worked in the end. So so I guess if you have good friends and your family understands that, you know uh, this is just a phase, and even if you fail, that's fine, because that's not the end of the end of your life. So I think things will work out, and trust me, it's really fun. So
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing such a powerful kind of background, and that kind of puts all your achievements in an even more kind of positive light. So just a quick question on that. What do you think contributed to this resilience that helped you get through this personal difficulty? One, and how do you think that kind of resilience plays out in the tech space or within coding? Has it come useful? Has coding perhaps resonated with you more because of this inner resilience?
So when it comes to building resilience and kind of trying to get over something, you learn it by practice. Uh, so for me, the saving grace was my love for reading. So I have a learning disability. Reading was difficult, but I loved it. So I kind of started doing more and more and more and more. The same goes for writing. So writing was difficult. Spelling, I'm horrible at spelling. So uh, technology helped me in that. I used to love. You can see a lot of books here. So I loved reading physical books, and then I discovered reading on a Kindle, and it became easy. So technology kind of helped me in a lot of ways in dealing with my problems with reading and writing. So my interest kind of you know um, it exploded in the sense that I realized that it can be an equalizer. So someone who does not have a reading disability and someone has a reason have a reading disability, they both can be on the same level if tech can help them. Same goes with a lot of other things. So that kind of made me really interested in learning more about how different users interact with technology. So interestingly, when I graduated, I did not get into coding. I got into quality assurance of of applications and products. Why I got into that? Because I had a unique perspective on how things work, because I have a learning disability. So so when I started giving feedback on things to my teams that this is difficult to find, or this is not visible, or this is not readable, they realized that I possess a unique perspective on things, and I kind of improved myself into getting into that. So I did not write a lot of code for a living, but I basically um, critiqued on the things that people were building. And from there, I got into, from quality assurance, I got into architecture, and then I got into product management.
It's amazing. I love how you kind of turned what is traditionally a disadvantage into a strength, and that's a beautiful story. A lot of questions on some of the stuff that you've mentioned earlier as well. So you've mentioned you're on the user design side of things. What is it in design that people commonly get wrong?
The simpler, the better. The less features, the better. The cleaner the interface, the better. So if you have a product, for example, you have a microwave, and we all have seen a microwave, and we know there are a lot of buttons on it, and there's a small screen, and there are a lot of options to do things. I'm pretty sure that most of us have never used those options. The only option that we use is to kind of defrost something or heat something. So the product has been made extremely complex, even though all of those features most of the people do not use. Same goes with the features in our phones. Same goes with a lot of things that we see on the screen. So for having a good product, the product that solves a problem, you just need to create something very, very simple, and that product must do one thing really well, and that is to solve a problem. Rest of the things can fall in place. So we all keep on that cliche. We keep on talking about that cliched story of the Google's interface. So you have seen Google. There is just text box and two buttons. So this is what we talk about when we talk about a good product in terms of design. That Google does one thing, that is to bring you information when you search information, and it does it really well. And the screen is very clear, and everyone can use it. So someone who's like 70 years old and someone who's like 4 years old, both of them can use the interface really easily. So this is what we look for when we are critiquing on an application. We are looking for something that an average user who's not tech savvy can use that application without any help. And this is the guiding principle that we follow when we are taking a look at something that people have built.
You talked about kind of turning a disadvantage into an opportunity. And right now, I feel there is a lot of space in Pakistan in particular, in introducing tech, coding, STEM into the early years in schools, kindergarten to grade 3, if not grade 5 and 6. And so, whereas the rest of the world perhaps already has programs with a decade ahead of us. So how important do you feel it is for children to get exposed to this side of things early on?
I think it is extremely important. The reason being that technology can open up a lot of opportunities for everyone. So not just children, but people who are older as well. For children, it's really important because it can be kind of like a deciding factor in what they want to do. And because of access to technology and technology education, they can explore a lot of things around the world. Um, even though if you know coding, it's not necessary, it's not compulsory for you to become a coder professionally. But if you know it, that's extremely liberating in the sense that because every single person on this planet now needs some kind of digital identity, and if you understand how that works, it's going to be a game changer for you. So on this topic again, I run a coding bootcamp as well, just like your code school. I run a school for girls, and we have like a slightly older target audience. So we have girls from the age of 15 till women in their 30s, and sometimes even in their 40s. So what we have seen that it kind of opens up their imagination for more things, and a lot of them are using their skill of coding into a lot of other things that they've already been doing. So I'm seeing a lot of people who are really creative in design, who are really creative in fine arts, are using those things and expressing them via learning how to code or by tech skills. So that's extremely liberating for them, and it's a new skill set. So there is a student in our bootcamp who writes really beautifully. She does calligraphy, and now I'm seeing her that once she got into the program, she started exploring more tools and digitizing that. So she sometimes sends me her work to take a look, and it's beautiful. And before that, she was just doing it on pen and paper, and was unable to sell it or make a living out of it. But now it's digital. She can get commissions for that. Work on something beautiful, help teams build applications that require something like that. So it's extremely important. Tech skills are a must, and we cannot run away from that. But at the same time, we also need all of us to go back to books and read more, and build the kind of empathy, build the kind of acumen, build the kind of skill set that is required to use technology responsibly, because that is also really important. And we in at my workplace as well as at CodeGirls, we focus that a lot, in the sense that we need to use technology responsibly, and we need to be safe online while using the internet, and making sure that we are making it safe for other people as well. So whatever you're building, whatever applications you want to build, whatever you want to do, think about uh, the ethical and moral ideas that we should uphold while building whatever we are trying to build. So that is also really important, and I think for that we need to just move a bit out of tech and go more towards books and other ways of learning as well.
So I think this statement that you said, that coding is not for coders or coding is not for programmers, is so important, and it's so counterintuitive, and it's so difficult for someone outside of the tech space to understand or relate to why they would need coding. And so what would you want to tell these people, or could you expand a little bit more on this piece around coding is not needed just for coders?
So coding is not just about building things. It's a way of thinking. It's a way of solving a problem by implementing logical steps, by thinking about a solution, then implementing a solution, then troubleshooting a solution, and then making sure at the end that it works, and then testing it out. So this whole process does not only teach you how to build a website or how to build an application, but it teaches you how to think. And that is extremely important in whatever field you are in. Either you are a doctor, or you're a pilot, or you are an engineer or an accountant. This ability to think critically and solve problems that are complex is extremely important. And that's why, even though in our coding bootcamp, a lot of girls come and say that they do not want to pursue it as a career, we still give them, the space to come and learn, because we know that it is not always about turning it into a profession. It is about giving them the power to explore their own minds and learn to think critically and learn to solve complex problems. So it's really important. It's the same as we teach our kids basic life skills. We teach them how to clean up after themselves. We teach them how to make their beds. We teach them how to put their plate in the sink. These are the basic life skills that we teach them, so that they can live a life that is neat, clean, and tidy. At the same time, we also need to we give them education, because we know that's important. Supporting is also important because it gives them uh, the required thinking skills for this new modern world that is different, and especially after this post-COVID world, people need that. So I've seen that a lot of people have gotten into new skill learning, and they are acquiring new skills. And I think if you want to acquire a new skill, maybe coding is the thing that you should look for.
So the last question I would just have is, what big problem do you see on the horizon? So now all our questions have been backward focused or inward looking, but looking forward, where do you think the industry is going? What are the big problems do you think that the industry could solve, or that need to be that we need to plant the seeds for today so that they bear fruition in the future?
Right. So for the local tech ecosystem, it is doing really well in terms of providing excellent services to people around the globe. So local Pakistani companies have customers all around the world, and they are providing services for them. But I think what we need to do right now is maybe look a bit inward and try to build things for our local audience. So you will see a lot of us use products that are built by other people around the world, but we do not have our own products other than a few that we know of. Like, for example, we have the RAS instead of Amazon. So we need to build more local products for local context and local content for our local, regional, and national language. So that is extremely important. So you see countries that are not non-English speaking countries, they have products in their own languages. They have a lot of solutions in their own languages, so that people who do not understand English can use those things. I think we need to build something like that, because again, right now you see that a huge population that is not tech savvy has access to smartphones. These are the people who are using WhatsApp. These are the people who are using Facebook. So we need something that can help them use the technology in their own language without English being a barrier in that. And I think another problem is with sustaining the growth. So even in the times of COVID, Pakistani software industry has grown. We are seeing a lot of new positions opening up, and a lot of new jobs and a lot of new things coming up. But we need to sustain that growth and make sure that we do not turn into um, a tech shop, and we stay like a technology exporter, a country that is known for creativity and not only for labor. So that is extremely important in my mind, that we need to kind of rebrand the image that we are just like a tech shop, a sweatshop, a kind of a modern sweatshop that is delivering things. But we need to rebrand ourselves for the work that we do, and that is like extremely creative work. So the products that I've been building for like past 11 years, uh, all of them were for audiences abroad. And I've started building a very small product for local audience. But again, the rest of all my skills, whatever that I know, is being utilized for people who are living, in another country, and So I want to see more things coming up for local audience and more of our talent using their skills for building things for local people. Yeah.
So this has always been a question for me, sitting outside and coming from the nonprofit space. We are in a very low literacy, low tech, low resource environment. And what role do you think tech could play, or how much of a barrier is it in this vision of having everyone really utilize tech to the fullest?
So so again, there are a few infrastructure problems. So access to internet is an infrastructure problem that the country has, and not the whole country has access to internet. And sadly, not the whole country has access to electricity as well. So that's like a problem for us. But there are few problems that tech can solve. So for example, as I said, that making applications or making solutions for local audience and local languages can help the problem with the literacy problem, because in our country literacy means understanding or knowing English for some reason. So so we do not have a lot of content in our own language, so that's really important. um, another part is that because technology technology can multiply really fast and there is no cost to copying something, so using it for education is a game changer all around the world. This is what we have seen in case studies, that if you use tech for education, it can be a game changer. So because you know that sending someone physical books or having a teacher sitting there is costly, but doing something online like what we are doing right now is very cheap. So again, that's a problem, but again, infrastructure comes in between. So that is also a problem with the boot camp that we run. So we deal with a lot of low and middle income families. So a lot of these girls do not have access to a laptop or do not have access to internet. So that is a problem. And we try to solve that problem to some extent by giving them access to a lab. If they graduate with a good with a good result, we give them a laptop as well. But again, a lot of this problem is should be part of public policy. A lot of these problems should be part of the private tech space that we are running, so local tech companies can really help in that. And a lot of them are doing, I can see them doing a lot of CSR work in terms of talking to student, educating student. But access to internet is something that someone has to take up locally, because that is a problem. So whatever I'm saying will be nullified if people do not have access to internet, because that's that's a step one.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Faiza. This was fantastic and really appreciate you taking our time. It was such an honor and a privilege to talk to you.
Thank you so much, Sada. Thank you so much for inviting me.